how do I get into believing and thinking more of what my inner being is thinking and believing about me?
By suspending your own thoughts and therefore allowing the only thought within you to be the thought of your inner being. There are words and there are vibrations, there are thoughts. So when you quiet your mind, you stop thought. And when you stop thought, you stop resistant thought. And when you stop any resistant thought or competing thought or contradictory thought or thought that is contrary to what your inner being knows to be, when you stop that resistance that your physical human self runs around in quite a bit, you allow your vibration to rise. And as your vibration rises, now you're in that arena or attitude or headspace or zone where now the dominant thoughts of your inner being can be received by you. In that state of being, your beliefs are suspended and therefore they're not in the way. Now, we're not talking about all beliefs. We're just talking about resistant beliefs. Everything that you know that is up to speed with what your inner being knows is still fully active and available to you. We're just talking about suspending the beliefs that are in the way of what your inner being knows to be. Now think about it. What does your inner being know that you in your physical form might not know? Well, your inner being received the knowing from what you lived, the knowing of what you are now asking for in a stronger way. Your inner being is just not pushing against anything. Your inner being is not comparing anything to anything. Your inner being is standing in that pure energy of what you through your life have evolved to and is reflecting it to you. Here's another way of saying it, and we've not said this before either. Your inner being stands in perfect belief of who you have allowed yourself to become, of who you vibrationally are. You stand in your physical form, not really allowing all that you are. So
it's shifting from there to there.
Use every word you can think of using.
It's getting into the receiving mode, into the alignment of moving from these thoughts or these ideas about myself that don't serve me.
All of that's true, but you don't have to be thinking about that when you are in the process of doing it, because your thinking about that will keep you from doing it.
Okay.
Your contemplation of your evolution is preventing your evolution.
Okay.
Now, it's all right to contemplate your evolution in a step 1 moment, but when you get into a step 3 moment, quiet your mind and let the evolution show itself to you. Can you feel how perfect your earlier question was? Am I thinking a thought? Am I receiving a thought? We say you're doing all of it. Just don't try to do it all at once. It's like those phones. You know, some phones, most of your cell phones, they can't talk and listen at the same time. You know that when you're talking over the top of each other. Ask and then listen.
Right.
All right, so we're right out here on the leading edge, friends. And so we know it's a little slow going, but it's worth it.
How do I physiologically know?
Doesn't matter.
Doesn't matter.
Use the word emotion and we'll discuss it with you.
Okay. But the emotion that I'd be in is a high-flying, on the high-flying
Well,
disc.
what we mean by that is the physiology thing that you were talking about is just represented to you by emotion. So when you feel positive emotion, you are allowing your connection. And when you feel negative emotion, you are not.
Right. And then there are ways to goose up the positive emotion.
Yes, you are not the gooser-upper. You are the allowing of the goosing.
Uh-huh.
That's why we offered a vibration, and Esther carefully chose the words. You quiet your mind and allow your vibration to rise. We didn't say quiet your mind and goose up your vibration. We didn't say quiet your mind and think about raising your vibration to a higher place. We said you do you and we'll do you. So by putting yourself into a quieted place, your vibration rises. It's a little tricky. It's not tricky. It's easy. But it feels a little confusing at times because you're often in your full conscious state and you're tuned in, tapped in, turned on. when you feel confident and high-flying and lighthearted. You can feel when you're there. You don't have to be in a state of meditation to be tapped into that energy stream. We just want you to practice tapping into the energy stream through meditation or through daydreaming.
I find I direct my daydreams. Yesterday, or the day before, when...
Say that again?
I direct my daydreams.
Then you're using daydream in a different way than we mean.
Yes.
And that's the basis of everything that we've been talking about here. That's where your confusion lies with this too. You see, here's the thing. We really are enjoying this conversation because you are representing so many others. Yeah. When you decide that you're going to deliberately create your own reality, there is often at the basis of that decision an attitude of proving something or accomplishing something or gaining some recognition or achieving something that you're supposed to achieve. And we want you to have a softer attitude about that. We want you to instead feel like this: I'm already beloved. I could not be more worthy. And along my physical trail, I've trained myself out of that vibrational recognition. And right now, I'm just wanting to allow myself back into that vibrational recognition. Even our words can feel confusing as we say, you create your own reality. And what we want to say is, you and your inner being are creating your own reality. That's why we think the analogy of the vacuum cleaner is so appropriate, because you just can't jump into the middle of it with all of the beliefs that you hold about it and really do what you intend to do. And so what is it we're asking you to release in order to really experience the successful accomplishment of alignment that you're reaching for? You have to let go of that feeling that you need to prove yourself. You have to let go of, we're not just talking about you, we're talking about all of you. You have to let go of the idea that you're being compared to one another in some way, which means you could be succeeding or failing. The only comparison in your entire beingness, whether you're approaching it from non-physical perspective and how your non-physical being feels about you, or from your physical perspective and how you feel about all things, the only comparison that is of value for you to be aware of is your comparative vibrational relationship with your inner being. Don't feel bad about us repeating it to you here again. We've been talking about this and nothing other than this for a very long time through Esther. That's why we have acknowledged the different perspectives in this creative process. That there's the part that you do where you explore and have your personal responses to things, where your personal preferences are felt by you in that physiological, emotional state that you were talking about. And so that step one helps you to identify at levels of your being that you can't even articulate. And in the process of that, you are automatically emanating vibrations of your preferences. That matters so much on a cellular level, on a nuclear level, at the very basis of your cells. In other words, every bit of you is emitting these evolutionary requests of expansion and preferences for your joyous becoming and continuing, and you might even say survival. And so as you're emanating these vibrational, call them rockets of desire because they come so quickly, as you're radiating this vibration, the larger part of you, who always stands in non-resistance, receives them, integrates them, experiences the benefit of the becoming of them, and changes because of what the physical you did. So what we just said is the non-physical you changes because of your step one physical stuff. And you might even be suffering a little bit in that contrast that you're living. But your inner being stands in utter appreciation for what you have accomplished through your exposure to life and the expansion that you offered and that your inner being received and is experiencing. And now your inner being stands as this newly become consciousness And the law of attraction acknowledges that newly become. We're talking about second by second by second by second by second. And then cooperative components are gathered to that, so that the expansion of you is real and vivid and steady and strong. And you, it's you. Now, that you stands in constant awareness of the physical part of you that caused it. This leading edge, pioneering physical part of you that caused this expansion. So your inner being stands in recognition of you and appreciation of you. And you stands as you, radiating the you that you have become. Now, when your mind is quieted, you're right there. You are you. You are all of you. You are the total you. You are the confident you, the sure you, the loving you, the happy you, the joyous you. But if you remain over there, mostly in step one, then even though your inner being is enjoying the expansion that physical you has provided, physical you, and we can say this very clearly to you, is standing outside of that somehow, not always, but usually, like most, looking for the credit for the expansion that effort and sacrifice accomplished. But you can't get there from there. So you have to find some way, and this is a lot to ask of you all. We're asking you, stand over here in the struggle, stand over here in the contrast, stand over here and become, and then forget about all of that and come over here with that which you've become. And you don't so easily do that. Instead, you stand over there and you say, look what I did. Look where I was. Look how it's been. And you talk endlessly, and we love you so much, pointlessly, about all of that. So then we say, we know how we can help you get over there. Quiet your mind. Follow this finger. Quiet your mind. Quiet your mind. Disengage from that if you can. Let your step one moment be something that you're not having right now. And as you quiet your mind, your vibration rises. You don't goose it up. You allow your vibration to rise, and you become one for a glimpse, for a period of time, with the whole of who you are. And you feel happy and clear and sure and alive, you see. So can you imagine what a delicious life a human could live if they just understood? I came to live some step one, I'm living some step one, I'm launching some rockets, launched some rockets, now I'm going to bed. And when you get up in the morning, don't regurgitate all of the launching of rockets and all of the struggle that caused them to launch. Instead, wake up and just for a moment, don't regurgitate everything that you have been troubled by before. All of that trouble caused an expansion. But don't regurgitate it. Wake up and greet the day. Be glad that you are alive. Look outside. Find some reason to feel good. Quiet your mind. Reach for things that feel good. Find some way, and each of you will find your own unique way. Esther has her processes that get her there, and allow your vibration to rise so that you tap into those glimpses. Don't direct your daydreams. Receive your daydreams.